All right, hey everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and we're playing Katsu some more because this deck might actually be real. So there was a recent Calling Columbus list from I think Neotran, who basically took a very funny list running two head jabs and some other kind of fun stuff, but a very like blue heavy kind of focus list. So I think we're running what is this, 20 blues in the deck, 9 yellows, and then also just like our good suite of reds here. But yeah, this list I think is pretty solid. So got a top eight at Calling Columbus, very impressive. And nothing like too spicy here. Again, we have like our Enact Vengeances, we have like Flick Flax, One of Remembrance, Warmongers, and then also Call for Backup, which I assume is just Prison Tech. Pretty solid. But yeah, we're going to be playing like a slightly modified version of this list, and mainly this kind of to fit more my playstyle. But I'm gonna take a lot of the inspiration, I guess, from this list because I think that this list has a lot of good baseline to kind of work off. I just want to tweak the ratios, kind of be a little bit more my playstyle. So for my list, we're going to go down a little bit heavier on a little bit on those blues. So I think as opposed to like 20 blues, we're going to try to run 15 and just kind of see how that feels. The one downside of running less blues is that your two costs get a little bit worse. So we're cutting down on the Enact Vengeances, so we're basically only bringing in two, which I think is about right. And then we're actually running, I guess, a slightly better head jab, but like basically the same card as head jab. So we're running Biting Breeze. The one upside of this card over the normal head jab is that it does potentially turn on Tempest Palm Gust Wave if you connect with it. So if you do like Biting Breeze, you get to play the Tiger, and then you get to play Tempest Palm Gust Wave. It can basically give you like an extra chain link, which may or may not matter. But again, maybe just like strictly upside here. So I did in the slot try to test out Murderous Rebel, which is a card that was kind of like inspired by like a list from a long time ago. I think it was like from Koi Din. It was like some like Asian tournament. But basically, he was running like Murderous Rebels and like a 12 blue Katsu list, and I thought I could try to like do something very similar, but then I started adding blues, and then the Murderous Rebels also like felt kind of like I don't know. There should be a better card, right? So the one upside that Biting Breeze has over Murderous Rabble is that you're basically getting a consistent stat line, but you're also getting a ninja attack action, which does actually matter pretty heavily for the ancestral empowerments. It also matters for the legacy Vicaroos. So with Murderous Rabble, the issue is like those two synergies kind of go out the window if you're using Murderous Rabble as a starter, and then you also have the inconsistency with it. So I think there is a world where maybe like Katsu lists end up running Murderous Rabble at some point down the line, maybe. Who knows? But for now, we're going to be running Biting Breeze, which I think is just like kind of like basically just a head jab, right? And then we're also running like a lot of similar cards from the other list. The one cards that I wanted to cut down a little bit on are like the blue Whelmings, which I've never been a fan of, and also like the blue Fusterfist. So basically cutting out like the 5 kind of weakest blues in the deck. And I want to kind of just make it a little bit more streamlined. So in its place, we're running a couple more reds and then also just a couple more yellows to kind of support that plan. But yeah, in the board, I think it's roughly the same. So I'm running some CNCs just for like Verdance and any like slower, kind of like more defensive decks. Running some Flick Flax for mainly just the Assassin matchup. I don't even think I really bring these into like AO or Reiner or like Brood or anything, but maybe I should. And then Look Toughs are just our exclusive Prism Tech, which is just a 8 power puffer, which is pretty decent. And then 2 Remembrances, and then also the Tenacity, just as like a one of links to your target. The one off, there are two off cards in this deck that I still need to test a little bit more. So Tunic is exclusively for Jarl, which I've actually found to be a brutal matchup, whether or not they're on Fatigue or like a more like Earth kind of like disruptive Jarl. Tunic actually probably does a pretty big deal on just preventing them from basically like Winter's Biting you or activating like Coronet Peak, because if they activate Coronet Peak against you like every turn, you kind of just like lose the game on the spot. And also popping Cross Strap if they have like Blizzard or anything is basically just like a nightmare. So Tunic is basically exclusively Jarl tech, which may or may not be seen in my local meta, who knows. But then Mask of Momentum, obviously for Gravy, and then Tide Flippers. I'm honestly debating even cutting these in this deck because like we don't run that many blues, and even if we do, it's basically like we're basically trading 3 block for 3 arcane block, which seems kind of bad. So the Tide Flippers honestly might be on the chopping block. We'll kind of see if we can maybe get a game that showcases that. But yeah, overall, pretty much stock standard Katsu list, pretty aggressive, and just trying to do the basically two-turn fab thing. So very exciting. But yeah, let's go ahead and play kind of at least a more refined version of Katsu than I was playing for the F tier Fridays, I think, last time. Also, don't forget to go check out Fab Foundry. So they're going to be your host for a couple big upcoming tournaments, especially Pro Tour Las Vegas. And they also have a lot of great singles and just Fab products in general. That you can find them at fabfoundry.co, and you can use our promo code Flesh and Bad for 5% off your next singles order. But yeah, with that, let's go ahead and get into the games against Verdance. Let's see how this goes. So I think we want to go first. I think we want to try to deny decomp as much as possible, and then also don't damage. Bring in another CNC, so I think I had 3 CNCs in this board. And let's maybe cut like our cutest card here. Maybe the yellow Whelming can go for the CNC. I think given another hand is like pretty good if we want to just play next turn. I think we just pass and deny decomp. They did play a fruits, which tempts me a little bit to go off here. But then we're also just like feeling graveyard even more. So I think if they played like one more card, we may go for it. But I think our hand's actually like pretty good here. Assuming we prop the cross strap here and they don't like CNCS or something, we're probably in pretty good shape. Again, I'm kind of just like denying the decompose value in case they have like felling or wonder or something. Anything really. They are starting off on like a 7-point life differential, just casual burdens things. All right, let's go ahead and pop our surging strike here. So I imagine what they're probably going to do is try to go for a block on the surging. We obviously have the whelming follow up, and then 2 empowerments we should be able to make some pretty good use of here. All right, so they overinvested in the surging strike here, so I think we're just going to go now for the whelming. Then I have to give us like 7 on this whelming to stop it, which is semi unlikely. That being said, they could go for like maybe block 5 on it or something. But we do have a nice little punish here. We would ideally like to hit on this chain link, assuming that we draw. Oh, they're gonna actually go for the Stonewall here too. Stonewall is like mildly annoying, but we can double pump here. That's fine. Right, drawing the CNC is not incredibly useful. Fine. So let's go ahead and draw off the Gust Wave first before doing anything. Drawing a Be Like Water. The only issue with this is that our bonds is kind of trash. The nice thing is we can actually like kind of close chain here. Maybe that's our best bet. Let's also not forget to turn off our equipment, which is probably like the worst part about playing Stuck on Tower Shower is just the equipment triggers. All right, let's go ahead and bouncing links and Katsu trigger. Let's go ahead and discard that Be Like Water and then grab. I think we're just grabbing our first Descendant here so we can like close chain and on a CNC, which doesn't do anything right now, but it's still like mild. So let's go ahead and that combat chain and we can start a new one here. So we're getting at least some pretty good damage in here, which is nice. The only downside actually about bonds here is we only have a whelming as a hit. That's not great. I feel like we're suffering a little bit from not having a combo card here. I wonder if was there an opportunity to actually tutor for something better? I can actually just grab Retrace, which should turn the whelming. No, it wouldn't turn the whelming on, right? Because we need to play the Retrace first here. So I don't think Lynx even helps us here. I wonder if there was maybe a marginally better play. So I guess maybe we just Arsenal CNC in this case. We play the whelming plus edge and just get 8 damage in. For what it's worth, we did get Stonewall and also Crown of Providence out of the way, so it's kind of nice. Let's leave the Lynx be. And having CNC for next turn is also like pretty decent. Assuming that they do go. Alright, let's go to our CNC here. Easter egg, not too bad. So they don't get to keep an arsenal, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we do at least have the tempo, which is nice. Let's go ahead and just take the damage. Again, we're kind of ahead on tempo, and like the like total differentials are not too bad, so I kind of just want to keep applying the pressure. Let's. I also want to start on one of these 0 costs first. And then our graveyard's still like not super good right now, is it? So I think I'd start on the 100 wins because we can always like close chain put the 100 wins in the yard, and that's like a decent bonds target if we want it. I don't think we're gonna push it on this. I think we want to try to push it on the surging ideally. So if they want to try to like block 4 here, they're probably gonna have to like give us 2 cards. If they give us 2 cards, then we're happy. Yeah, I kind of just want to keep the tempo here as much as possible. So they're gonna give us 6 here, which is fine. They block us out for a turn, but they're not doing anything on their following turn, which is also good, which means they're probably keeping an arsenal. Right, and we'll just let this hit. So we got a little bit of chip damage in. They blocked out, but again, not that bad for us. And then we'll follow up with the edge swing. Saving that CNC for the turn they decided to keep an arsenal, which should be this turn. I don't think Verdance has many 0 card play or 1 card plays other than like ring. And this hand I think is pretty nice. So what is the best line here? The tenacity is obviously juicy, but the issue is I like want to play the surging first here. Like holding on to tenacity is also like pretty decent, right? There's maybe even a line where we do like 100 wins, like CNC or something, and like save the surging for next turn, but that's probably wrong. Right, they're gonna give us another 6 here. It means they're kind of like overcommitting to blocks. So now I kind of want to just punish them with the like Edge of Autumn into CNC, and then hold the 100 wins for next turn. And this also puts our tenacity back in the deck, which is pretty reasonable. So yeah, if they're sitting on like a D-React here, this could actually be pretty rough for them. It seems like they're maybe just going to even let the Arsenal go here. That CNC was pretty good for I do like CNC a lot in this deck. Just for decks that want to like sandbag either a D-React or some other card for blocking purposes. So this hand is like a little bit of a brick, but not really. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cash in the 1 block on the Breeze Order Roots because we might end up popping it next turn with the Gustwipe here. The nice part is they have not found a ton of their decomposed cards other than a Plow Under, which I think they saw maybe a little too early. And we can go for a potential punish with the Legacy of Ikaru here. I've tried cutting down on Legacy, but I found that like the combat trick is sometimes relevant, like especially here. Like it's just super annoying. So let's go ahead and get that card draw first. Like on hit card draw is still like it's not quite ancestral empowerment, but it's like pretty decent. All right, we drew another one. Also I forgot to freeze our boots. Which is fine because we can probably just double bonds here anyways, right? So let's not destroy the links. Let's do a Katsu, discard the legacy. So I feel like I'm playing like a little bit suboptimally here, but you can kind of still play suboptimally and kind of put together a functioning turn. We're probably going to be able to pop our raise our boots on a later point this combat chain, so it's not too big of a deal. Right, so I think we're going to go for the good old double bonds here. Bonds gets bonds. The next bonds. Sure, what the next bonds gets. So this is assuming that one of these 2 bonds hits, which we do have the Edge of Autumn Flick to somewhat guarantee. I mean, it's not fully guaranteed if they have some 4 block in hand, but even then it's guaranteed, right? Should still be guaranteed. I'm struggling to think of a card that can actually hard punish us here. Yeah, we should be able to get the hit here and then pop our Breeze Order Boots. Crack those. And then links. Do we want to link? So what does links do for us? It's just like a little bit of extra damage. I guess we can get tenacity still, which is 7. Yeah, it's probably just tenacity, right? Stack has like a lot of thinking to it, which is good or bad depending on who you ask. Let's go ahead and grab just wins here. We already have the go again, but we don't really have like a much better target. We basically just get to fully unload, keep the tempo, and I just kill them from here. So I know a nice little 7. So we'll watch that turn back and see how much damage we ended up doing at the end of the game, but that was a very, very high damage turn. And then here, this hand's like a little lackluster, but we can make it work. I think we're always going to go for edge first on this hand and just keep applying the pressure. The nice part about the Biting Breeze in this deck, this is a little bit of a copy from Nia's list, is just like having an additional head jab in the deck is like pretty reasonable. I've tried to like replace this card with like Murderous Rabble, but it's never been incredibly impressive. The Murderous Rabbles, that is. Biting Breeze just is like kind of a bad Murderous Rabble, but it's like more consistent, right? Which is kind of what you want. And the Tiger like sometimes does matter for like Tempest Palm, Gust Wave purposes. So if they do go for a react here, we can punish with the Seek Vengeance in hand. If they don't punish with a react, that's also fine. So let this hit. We're gonna Katsu trigger, discard the Seek, grab our. Oh, do we not? Oh, we don't have an axe in this version, right? That's fine. We can still grab Seek here. Kind of okay. Okay, so that was a little bit of pun on my part. Sorry, I'm still learning the deck, so we didn't have an act in this board, which is what I probably would have gone for in this position, but that's still fine. So they can deny us the edge here if they want to get Barkskin plus a card or maybe like Direct or something, which is probably reasonable. Yeah. All right. So minor misplay there and going off the edge there. We still do have like full tempo, so it's not that bad. And then this hand, what do we want to do? And it's still like this 11 damage hand. I guess the question is like how do we make the best of this hand? Probably still just starting off Surging Strike. Unfortunately, if like we didn't have a pitch card, so we can keep both Surging and Descendant. I think there's also maybe some merit to like playing one of these first. Oh, it seems like they're maybe just gonna let us connect here. Or no, okay, they have the mental block as well, so we still get like 2 cards here, which is fine. And then we can follow up on the Be Like Water, maybe just Arsenal like a Biting Breeze for next turn. So we're definitely ahead here, but losing that edge probably will hurt us in the long run. That being said, they're committing some more blocks here, so keeping Arsenal is actually kind of fine in this spot. And so chipping through the last little bit of that Verdance is going to be the challenge from here on out. Yeah, if we had edge in this position, this would actually be super good, right? Because we go, if we edge, we get the chain links for the Seek Vengeance and the Tempest Palm. So that was one of those situations where I think the edge would have actually probably salvaged his hand. That being said, we could always hit something off the top like a Hunger Wings, which I guess we have one of left, and then I think we also have some sense. So we might as well just like YOLO the Harmony here. We hit a Retrace, which is not relevant, but that's fine. So they're going to commit to blocking from this position, which is reasonable. And let's just follow up on a CNC and try to be a little bit annoying here. Seek is kind of a dead card until we find a way to re-equip our edge, but that's kind of okay. Mental block. Again, our opponent's like not really doing anything, but I guess we're also not really doing anything either. And now we draw this hand, which is good, right? Good hand, I think. So I think we're pitching the Surging here, right? Pitching the Surging. We could also go Surging Descendant. We pitch these two, which is that better? 4 into 5 versus 3, 3, 4, assuming that they don't do anything. So I guess the 3, 3, 4 is probably like a little bit better. I don't want to just get them in a spot where they're kind of like not doing very much. Yeah, losing that edge hurt us super, super badly, I think. So now at least the nice thing is they are kind of committing to blocking out the vengeances for the rest of the game. Or maybe they're going to let this one hit, or maybe they have Direct or something. Also reasonable. Yeah, that one edge turn is like fighting us super, super hard here. That's okay though. It's all a part of the learning process. We do find empowerment though. All right, Harmony. Nice. Mildly nice. So the nice part is that this is coming in for 3, and then we have the empowerment to bump it to 4. So they are going to have to commit either another point of prevention here or another direct here. If they don't, we are obviously connecting, getting the last bonds, which is pretty good. We also find Retrace, which is kind of sick here. Retrace naming Edge of Autumn actually kind of like unbricks this also, which is kind of funny. All right, so we mildly like punted. So this is a point important like learning experience. We mildly punted that one turn, but we are kind of coming back just on the basis of how far ahead we are in terms of that one super combo turn we kind of did. So the key takeaway is like trying not to risk your edge in the same way I did, because I think that was maybe the I think if we don't risk the edge there, we're probably like super far ahead, right? Autumn. Yeah, the Edge of Autumn on Retrace giving Seek Vengeance go again is a pretty funny combo. I need to remember to not need to remember to that I don't have vengeances in this board. Something to maybe keep a little bit of track of. Right, so we can't. So I think they just die here, right? Because we can click on the gust swipe now. The funny hidden text on Okana is we can flick a retrace, which is kind of hilarious. So we barely get them there. I think I definitely like punted there though. We'll leave the game in though for I guess like learning purposes. But this is my I guess warm up game. Still not too bad for a warm up game though. So like maybe there is something here. Like if you can kind of beat the Verdances this easily. The one thing I'm discovering more and more about this deck though is like how often people will try to fatigue you if they see that edge is gone, and like once you get fatigued with Katsu, it's like very I don't know. Like Katsu doesn't have like a lot of like natural recourse to getting fatigued, which is kind of awkward. But yeah, I think the deck's still really good. Let's actually take a look at our combo turn. All right, we got a 31 damage combo turns, which is fair. I think we can definitely do better, but not too bad. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can get another. All right, I have planned to play against Fang, so let's try this. I don't know, so I don't think Fang can really fatigue us, so we should probably just go aggro. Let's go first. And then they do probably run some number of directs, so I think the Command and Conquers are probably worth it over the Enacts. And then maybe even the Tenacity is maybe better than the Salt here. I can maybe cut the cute little one of Yellow Whelming here. Let's maybe try like this configuration, see how it goes. It could also definitely be like a deck that kind of just will ignore blocking and maybe try to like race this down, but I don't think they can really afford to race this down. All right, so we see the first react on, which is always nice. All of this Seek and just put Seek and a Fluster in the bin, which is a pretty decent start for us, I think. We're gonna go ahead and pop the Dynamos. And then we can set up a Surging for next turn, which is really, really nice. All right, it's blocking with Searing Gaze, seems fine. Let's not forget equipment real quick. All right, nice hand for the next one. So we're pretty much just gonna say no blocks this entire game unless they give us a compelling reason to. I guess we can probably just cash in our Breeze Rider Boots at some point, but again, not super high priority right this second. Oh wow, starting off on a Fire and Brimstone, which I imagine is probably not actually that good on this hand. That's probably fine, right? Oh, maybe they didn't even have a follow up there because the Fire Veins probably cost. So I guess they're probably just like doing that for the free game, whatever. All right, let's go ahead and pop our cross strap here and lead off on the Surging Strike. So we have Surging Descendant. The only awkward part about this hand is like maybe we actually should have let off on the 100 Winds first and just see what they did. Imagine they probably just like give a 3 block or something to that though. I feel like it's still probably better practice maybe. So let's go ahead. All right, they're gonna give us the freebie, which is nice. Let's go ahead and pop here. Use the Katsu. Let's discard probably just the Seek Vengeance, right? Because it's our lowest damage card. Bonds. All right, we also have the first bonds in the yard, which is always great. Let's turn off our link for this turn. I don't think we're gonna probably use it here. Let's grab Seek is fine. We probably can against Fang afford to go for like the 5 damage Seek play because like most of the time they're probably just gonna do 4 block react or whatever. Seems relatively free. If they want to give us like 2 reacts for our edge of bottom, I think I'm like kind of okay with that exchange. All right, so we get the free re-equip there, which is always great. And then we get to Arsenal Biting and then also have access to our link still. I wonder if there was maybe some merit to going there, but we did board out the Salt the Wound. So that maybe made it a little bit worse. And I think this is a scenario where I'm just going to say no blocks, but I'm going to try to cash in the Breeze Rider boots here. All right, seems like a bit too, so they'll get the free card draw off the Saber. But the one thing that's nice about Saber is it does feel a little bit less bad when Fang plays it as opposed to like Marionette or whatever. Again, they no blocks, no real point, so they add Endear Devotion, so they are getting up to 2 fealty here. That being said, their Blade Flurry did get a little bit less value. They are actually getting us pretty even on life total. That being said, we do have full tempo, but still a little bit scary. Let's turn on our Breezer for this turn, and we're also probably going to turn on our Lynx. I think I'm going to start us off on the Harmony here, because the upside here is, I think, pretty strong. I don't know what the exact hit percentage is, because we have churned through a decent bit of our deck, but there is a pretty high roll upside here. Right, hitting a Surging off the top is obviously unfortunate, but not the end of the world. We do have like the 4 damage here, which is quite nice. So I think there's a world where we even go for like a double bond sign here, if I'm not mistaken. How do we do that? We have to involves Tempest Palm Gust Wave, right? We don't have currently. We do have Empowerment, so I guess maybe the Empowerment draws Tempest Palm or something. Empowerment draws another Harmony. Interesting. The plot, I guess, thickens. I think we are popping our Breezer boots here because we want to give this go again. And you just have a pretty full fridge here, so it could be a little bit scary. So pop the Breeze Riders. Pop the... I think we are popping links, but I'm not sure what we're getting quite yet. Actually, maybe we're not actually supposed to pop the links quite yet. Maybe we're actually supposed to pop the links there. So pop the Breeze Riders, don't pop the links. Go on the links. Yes on the Katsu. The problem is Retrace actually doing anything for us here? Like maybe it's actually better to we don't have a Gust Wave for free is the issue, right? I guess Lynx could get Katsu, we discard. I guess Harmony is still the discard here, right? Get other bonds. And then the Retrace is still a little bit of a mystery to me. Like what are we doing with this Retrace? We board out the yellow Gust Wave with the mask. I think we did, right? Maybe I need to stop boarding out the yellow Gust Wave is maybe the thing I'm learning here. I guess we could also play the Retrace here and just like rename it like Descending Gust Wave or something. So I think we're popping this just to make sure I don't have another Gust Wave that I'm forgetting about. I think we're just grabbing Tenacity because we like are gonna probably play it anyway. So let's grab the Retrace and then name, I guess, Descendant here. It's still fine. So the funny thing is I like need to give us blocks because they'll die, but they also don't want to give us blocks because it'll pump Tenacity, which is kind of funny. Now let's grab, I guess, another Seek here. Probably should banish the blue one. Probably mattered very much in this matchup. So yeah, if I had the yellow Gust Wave, this turn actually would have been, I think, a little bit crazier because we do like double bonds. I guess we can't play the Tenacity in that case. Interesting. Maybe our hand just like wasn't super conducive to that, but it looks like we actually managed to get there anyway. So a nice little clean two turn game. So we're coming in for 5. We send another 5 after this, and then Tenacity is baseline coming in for 3, which is fine. So 5/5/3, but they have to like give us cards to like not die to that. So maybe the Tenacity comes in for a little bit more. Okay, so not too bad, not too bad. I think I do need to like keep track of what my links is because in like an actual tournament, you can't just like take back links, right? But yeah, this is a pretty good, at least, learning game for like what to do in the thing. I assume this matchup is just a straight race. I think a little bit what I'm more puzzled as to like what to do is into like Gasai, for instance, where they have like the offhand chance that they can like fatigue you or whatever. That I think gets a little bit dicier. But yeah, not too bad. Let's see if we can get a couple more. All right, we got a Dio. So this is one of those matchups where I cut the Warmongers because I think that it's not very good. I think this is one of those matchups where we can just run the Queen 60 and see how it goes. Yeah, I've tested this matchup a fair bit, and I felt like the Warmongers, like, if you draw it, it will host them, but like drawing it is like half the battle, it feels like. Alright, to start us off here, looks like we got some biting stuff. Probably want to arsenal the whelming gustwave, so maybe we just go like biting, seek vengeance or something, just to push a little bit of damage and set up an arsenal. Seems pretty good. So heist seems fine. I think we're just gonna try to set up the graveyard here and then also push a little bit of damage. Ooh, they also have like the promo Fast and Furious. If they're caught with like a no block in their hand, we do get to push a little bit of extra damage, and we know that Dio doesn't have D-Reacts, which is also pretty good for us. But I think we can afford to go ahead and pump with the Okana here, re-equip the edge, and set up an arsenal. They could run that one like dissolving shield card. I forget what the equip. It's here. Also turn off our equipment. I wish these like came like default like were turned off, but I guess that like ruins a bunch of other heroes, right? So maybe you can't do that. But we did buy what was that 4 armor for them on turn 1, which is I think a pretty big deal. I actually wonder from their side if it was maybe better to just kind of let us have that. I'm gonna try to break the enter that card. I think that's slightly more than maybe not. There we go. All right. Setting up a null time zone. Okay, what are they gonna name? I feel like a lot of DOs are not very good at actually naming cards with this card. All right, they're gonna name Surging Strike, which I think is like pretty reasonable. So how does this card work? When this enters a name card, the name card can't be pitched or played from hand while this is in the. So I think with Retrace, this actually doesn't like if we retrace name a Surging Strike and then like play Whelming, I think that works, right? So that's what I think I'm gonna go for here. So I'm hoping to pump 4 on this Gust Wave, and we do have a second Gust Wave to, I guess, follow up here. So we can like Descendant, discard this, get Bonds. Bonds gets or I guess we still need to get a retrace somehow, which I guess we can use with the links. So links named Surging. No, I think that still works, right? So they let this connect. Looks like they're like. So we definitely want to pop our links, and we definitely want to grab a retrace and then Katsu. Discard the Dishonor. So we're gonna go for the Dishonor play here. Then we'll grab our Bonds on top. So Bonds gets the Dishonor. So we don't even really need to play this Dishonor, right? We just need Surging off this. So I think this should work, based because we're playing the card. The card name is Retrace, so this is not preventing us from like playing the card, but it is turning into Surging Strike, which is very funny. The Retrace naming synergy is always kind of troll. It feels like. So then this turns into Surging. We already played a Descent on the first chain, so like the Dishonor will actually still see that one. Then we get to go Surging, Whelming, Bonds, which is a lot of on hits, finishing on Dishonor, and then arseling the Descendant to end it on. So it seems really good. And I think we can also. Oh, we could have actually snuck in a edge there if I was paying more. Or no, I don't think we could have actually. Maybe we could have. I actually wasn't sure if I guess they were gonna block this. Maybe I can cut myself a little bit of slack there. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the Whelming here. Whelming could also draw us into something, so like maybe one resource doesn't really matter too much here. We can also just like play out the Descendant if we draw something good off the Whelming, assuming that this hits, obviously. It looks like give us some armor, which is fair. I could go for the greed and just Okana here, but Okana on Dishonor is also very funny. It's tempting. And we also do have the Descendant as backup. I guess the card draw maybe like doesn't actually matter all that much if we like can't really realistically play this super easily. Let's go ahead and just grab our Dishonor and maybe try to threaten the Okana on Dishonor, which could be relevant or at least prevents him from playing items off the top, which is pretty good. And it also prevents him from looking off the top, which I guess is kind of like the same thing. Yeah, I guess Theo's hero power is like pretty good, right? Yeah, like the info plus the free card draw basically. So yeah, this Dishonor should be pretty annoying here. Right, let's go ahead and finish on the Dishonor here, which is technically coming for 5, so maybe demands Crown plus another card here. In which case, we're putting Theo on the 4-card hand, which means they're like less likely to max V, and is overall probably pretty good for us. Right, so they will go ahead and respect it here, which makes sense. So maybe it was correct to still pump on the Whelming. I don't know. Because we could have played this and like drawn like a fresh new card, but having like Descendant is actually like not too bad. I don't know. I think it's like pretty close. The nice thing while I'm like him and hawing on whether or not I like misplayed that turn is we are like 40 to their 24 and they are completely out of armor. So maybe it's not too bad for us. We can go ahead and just dash in. Rethrow our boots here. I guess there was a world where that we hit with the Whelming, maybe go off of edge for a little bit. Oh, funny thing also, hidden T-bone tech is you can go ahead and block with the hardened cross trap here. If they have a third one, I can't save Okana here, but we did manage to save it at least with the these two, right? It looks like they're maybe gonna go for max V here. Is maybe like the worst case scenario, but still like not that bad for us. Again, we're basically now at life total parity, and we also have full tempo, so like sign me up. The one downside, I guess, is we still can't play Surging Strike, but we also don't have a Surging Strike, so it's still fine. And then we could go for the good old classic double bonds. I am known for my my bonds lines, so maybe that's the thing we're gonna go for here. Back in my day, you used to be able to play 6 bonds of ancestry on a turn. Actually, it probably wasn't that. It was like I think I probably topped out at like 4 bonds of ancestry, 5 bonds of ancestry on a turn. You couldn't really play that many bonds. And then let's go ahead and just pop Arcana here since it's free. Should we re-equip and then grab the Katsu, discard the Fluster, and then just do our nice classic good old double bonds line. Bonds gets back bonds, and then we just do double Descendant, which is kind of gross. It feels so good to resolve Bonds of Ancestry again. I missed this card. I remember when this card was good. I guess it still is kind of, maybe a little bit. And then I guess we can just grab Dishonor, even though it doesn't have the on hit, but it's still just a 0 for 4. This doesn't kill here, which is, I guess, the scary part. Actually, was there a way to kill this turn? Maybe with the cross strap we could have killed. So if we cross strap, does that change anything? I don't think it does though, because we still had to like use Descendants anyways. I guess their hand is cannot block this unfortunately here, which is also very funny. So I guess we might have been able to kill there, but like it's awkward though because we still have to like pitch to the Descendant. Maybe there wasn't actually a kill there. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But yeah, that was a pretty decent one. Again, a lot of 2-turn games with this deck. So this is let's take a look at it. I guess our stats. So 20 damage on the first turn, 20 damage on the second turn. Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, this deck still does some gross things sometimes. So we didn't even use cross trap this game, which is actually kind of impressive because this is just like 2 free resources. All right, let's get maybe one last one. Ooh, Oscilio. So this is probably one of our better matchups, or at least one of the main reason to probably play this deck. So let's just run the normal 60. This should be aggro enough to hopefully deal with the Oscilio. So we have a double surging here. I guess means we can go ahead and just maybe get a little chip in here. There's like maybe a world where we do want to click the edge of autumn just to be annoying, but probably not. Probably like a little bit too high risk on this hand. At least the nice part is this does maybe buy equipment blocks from them. I think I just want to try to set up this surging in Arsenal as a priority though. Looks like they're going to go ahead and just give us the double lock there, which is fair. So the one downside about doing this is unfortunately we don't get any combo in the yard, but that's still fine. Again, I want to try to push damage and also does kind of punish them if they want to like end up keeping a card here or whatever. They basically get like 3 cards out of them and then also get to set up surging, which is not too bad. And it looks like they maybe don't have a blocking card here, so I'm probably expecting some kind of CLV or something here. Maybe Gone in Flash, whatever. The hand definitely could be a little bit scary. But that being said, we basically have the perfect setup to try to kill next turn, which is nice. So, guess it's either Sigil or CLV here. Oh, maybe they just want to overpitch Press, which is also fair. Okay, so actually a lot weaker than I actually kind of anticipated from the Oscilio side. Oh, and this actually is a pretty high likelihood of hitting a combo card off the top. So I think the play is we want to Ancestral Harmony, crack cross trap for Surging Strike, and then just like double empowerment and go to town. Yeah, let's just go ahead and take the damage here from the blast. Again, we don't really care since this doesn't have go again baseline. They could blink it and maybe set up like embodiment, do some stuff here, but probably not even that good. I guess like the best case scenario here is maybe they can pitch and play like Mind Warp or something. Okay, that's the best case. I guess they don't have to pitch because they can replay out the sigil here. Not too bad. Assuming that they do have the Mind Warp as the last card. Alright, so let's go ahead and just fire off this Harmony here. Again, I think we're pretty much guaranteed to hit from this position, but oh, disgusting, absolutely gross. Alright, send this Oscilio to Boldhaven or wherever he's from. Pack him up, he's dead. Alright, let's go ahead and grab so Surging Strike comes in for free. I guess there's some merit to playing out the hand one. I think it's actually just strictly better to play out the Arsenal one though, right? Because they're same stat line. But we can maybe have the pitch here, which is relevant. So I think we're just gonna go for the double empowerment here since we know the Descendant is the follow up here. Interesting. I feel like it's not actually that good, but it's fine. It's awkward. Huh. Interesting. I feel like I could have asked for some better draws, but we also hit off Harmony, so I guess I can't complain. What do we want to get here? We don't destroy the Breeze Riders. We do probably need to discard the Whelming here, though. We use Katsu, discard the Whelming. Probably grab our Bonds. And then the Descendant draw here is definitely like a little bit awkward. It's awkward, but it probably still gets the job done. We could also get like a Retrace here. Does Retrace do anything? It lets us like play to Descendant, which is actually kind of fine. And it comes in for 5, which I guess is alright as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and maybe just grab the Retrace here and rename Descendant. Let's pop our links, grab our Retrace. So we're doing the Retrace here strictly just to discount the Descendant here. It's basically like coming in for plus 10 damage off links, which is pretty good, I think. So let's go ahead and name this, we need to name it Surging Strike, right? Surging Strike, not Militia. But yeah, plus 10 damage on the links there is not too bad. Let's not go ahead and destroy the Breeze Riders. We can now replay out the Descendant, which is very funny. And I guess we end on the Whelming here for just 4. But if they don't block, they do have to be a little bit careful. Because we could actually, theoretically, kill them with the Descendant here. Kind of disgusting. Or the Whelming gets away with it. So they do have to give us at least 1 equipment block if they want to not die here. So that's I feel like with a different set of draws, we actually just like killed them on the spot, like guaranteed. But I guess we have threatened lethal here, which is always nice. I think if they didn't give blocks, I'd probably be incentivized to go ahead and just go for it anyways, if they have like a D-React or something. Because we have the Surging Strike, we're not really like too worried about bricking on the next hand. I feel like it's very, very hard to brick with a Surging Strike. I'm wondering if there was a better line that hand, but that at least seemed like a pretty decent line, or at least borderline killed them. That being said, they're Oscilio, so they can obviously like Dawn and Flash me out of the game, but we are at 37, so maybe we're not that bad off. This hand is kind of a brick with the Surging Strike, though. Oh, and they do have the Gone and Flash as well, so we could be in a little bit of trouble. That being said, there's always the chance that they Mind Warp me, and we're actually kind of fine with this. So I think we're gonna just take the damage here. Like, they could Mind Warp us into a better hand here, which would be very funny. This hand probably does still like threaten lethal. All right, this is even faster than I guess the other video. This isn't even 3-turn fab. This is a 2-turn fab. Oh wow. I think it's been a while since my fab games have like actually been like 2-turn fab games. Kind of crazy. All right, let's go ahead and let the Dawn resolve. This 26, they have Sigil as well. Pretty scary. Yeah, if they have like a good spell to follow up here, we could definitely be in a bit of trouble. That being said, they don't have like a Sigil in the graveyard, so maybe it's not too bad. I think I'm gonna give Boots and not give the Scar Wrap. I feel like the likelihood of us dying from this spot is like pretty low. Anyway, we can't block any Arcane anyway, so let it go. Yeah, looking like a pretty decent Gone Flash turn from them. Yeah, the Sigil, they have the Discharge, which are like 2 of the higher value things they can do, right? And they do still have 1 action point if they want to end on a spell here, which I imagine they probably do. Oh yeah, Consign to Cosmos. Pretty much optimal Gone Flash turn. Basically all instants, right? Yeah, not too bad. I think pretty much like textbook Gone Flash hand there. So that being said, we should still be fine here because we popped off a little bit harder than them. We do have to be like, I guess, a little bit careful. How do we like actually navigate this hand? Probably need to play the Be Like Water, pitch the Surging to like make use of it. Then we just take this damage, I think. You can also cash in the Okana, but the Okana might lead to us killing them, so I'm kind of hesitant to give that up. And Okana also helps push through our on hits, which is pretty relevant. Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty safe at 7, at least on our turn. But if we manage to get them in a situation where they can like pass to their turn, then we're in a little bit of danger. All right, they are activating Oscilio, which maybe means their hand does not block too well. They like kind of have to give us 4 here. Seems like they're maybe going to go for. Oh, they're just going to give us 3 because they have a 2 block. Oh, that is unfortunate. Yeah, we will go for the Okana Punish here. And renaming the Surging Strike, I think, is actually pretty big for us. So we want to get Whelming here for sure, right? Yeah, I think it's Whelming. We could actually. I think Breeze Rider actually makes a difference here. I don't think it does, right? Then we'll decline. Yes to Katsu, discard or biting, grab our. We could also go for like a descending gust wave here just for damage. Maybe also maybe a little bit more reasonable because we don't actually need the card draw necessarily. Yeah, that's fine. Aim a Surging Strike, Cluster. So this threatens a card, this should threaten a card, and then they get to keep a 1-card hand, which can't deal 7. That's at least the theory here. We are going off edge again, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Now let's see if they can block the Fluster here. They need a 3-block here, and then might not be doable. Oh, unfortunately, maybe they have a Lightning Press in their hand. Oh no. Yeah, it's definitely one of the Oscilio. So that's like, I guess, maybe the downside. It looks like they're running actually a lot more instants in the deck, which maybe like synergizes pretty well with the Blast. Um, but yeah, it looks like they're running a lot of no blocks in this deck. So this is like, I guess, one of the kind of reasons that to play Katsu right now is your Oscilio matchup just feels very, very like overwhelming. They basically got to like one turn to play the game. If they didn't find Gone in the Flash, like we basically win that game like every time. And even when they did find the Gone in the Flash and they had like a really good Gone in the Flash turn, it still like kind of wasn't enough. All right, but yeah, I think that's a pretty good one to end it on. Thank you all for stopping by. So this is again the Katsu list that I've been kind of tweaking, working on since Katsu is now meta. Very, very crazy. But again, most of this is inspired by Nia Tran's list. So they got top 8 in the Calling Columbus, which is really, really impressive. Again, for a Katsu list, it's pretty cool. Again, my kind of like appeal to this game, or one of the appeals to this game for me, is just kind of like tweaking a list myself and just kind of like understanding the cards and trying to get like a better sense of the cards. So again, my ratios are very slightly different than that list, but I think a lot of the ideas kind of remain the same, and it's just kind of like a little bit more of like a little bit of a red line version. But again, we're not going like full red line with the Murderous Rebels, which I guess are not in the sideboard anymore. But yeah, I think this list is pretty solid. You can definitely do some pretty like gross things with this list, and I feel like I'm starting to get a little comfortable with it. That being said, fatigue still seems to be like the biggest issue for me. But anyways, thank you all for stopping by. Hope you all enjoy, and yeah, I'll see you all next time. And a special thank you to all the folks who decided it would be a good idea to give us $2 on Patreon. We really appreciate the support, but it's obviously never required.